Hey, welcome everybody. Dr. Homebrew, we are back. We're drinking a beer. We're drinking exactly one beer tonight. The only beer that matters. We're getting 100%, or giving 100% of our attention to the third member, or the eighth member, I don't know, of Council of Brian's. Brian Mills, what's up, dude? Welcome back.
Thank you.
And it's also, apparently, Brian Cooper is telling me that this is the 8th anniversary of Dr. Homebrew.
Hey,
For exactly 8 years. 8 years tonight? Like, that's the thing?
Well, the first show was posted sometime in May 2012. So yeah, it's 2013. Sorry.
Okay. Oh.
In the month.
Okay.
I could look up the date. I don't know.
It's fine. You don't need to do that. No one cares but you.
But I wanted to do it big. Yeah.
Well, you did. 8 years. 8 years.
Episode number 1. Okay, listen to this. It was May 16th, 2013. Here we are, May 18th, recording.
Pretty good here, dude. Yeah, pretty good.
Close.
Damn. Keith.
Imagine like balloons going up in the air and confetti splashing and stuff.
We're doing pretty good, man. You know, we've been through a few iterations. You know, big shouts out to Lee, wherever you are, Lee Shepard, my man, starting the show off with us. And
in fact,
you know,
I had this. Here's to Lee. He was such a great guy.
Dude, let's pop a top for Lee here, man.
Cheers, I knew him in the homebrew scene locally for a long time.
Oh man, he was the first member of the Brewing Network to leave a tab, to skate out on a tab.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And people
anyway.
just start listening on episode 1 and then they get through this whole thing. And little do they realize what is about to happen, because this is going to be big. We are having our 8th anniversary extravaganza. We're introducing a new segment, which we will call Dr. Homebrew Hypochondriacs. And our first hypochondriac is our good friend, who coined the term, actually, Mr. Brian Mills. So
Brian Mills,
I would like to give a round of applause for. I always just called them repeat offenders, but I realize we're not a cop show. But
we weren't done waxing poetic about our lost, compadres. So Brian Mills can wait for a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Keith. Okay. Keith Cost. He's still alive, but he's married. So it's sort of the same.
And in Pennsylvania.
Is he in Pennsylvania?
He's in Cleveland.
he's or Cleveland. Okay, he's in Ohio. Same thing.
Same thing.
Wasn't he originally from Pennsylvania, like Pittsburgh area?
I think you're right.
He's from out there. Yeah.
I don't think he actually was from anywhere. I think he's a homo.
He just appeared.
Yeah, he was just riding the rails, and then one day he gets off the boxcar and decides to put down roots because he's tired of traveling.
I believe he attached at NCHF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was in a club called Trash, and it was like
Keith is in the chat right now.
Wow.
Keith. Whoa.
And Keith was in my homebrew club, the Words of Wisdom.
Welcome.
For a while before he left.
His ears are burning, I guess.
Yeah. If I had his email address, I'd throw him in the chat, but no, so can't. Welcome, Keith. Man, when are you going to see? This is just stupid. Because I want to ask him a bunch of questions. Why aren't you, bro? Send me. What's his email? What's his email?
It's I'll send it to you.
Are we going to do this live?
Yes, I'm going to do it live. I don't give a
awesome.
fuck.
This is pretty
first
awesome.
of all, Brian Mills, do you care? You got anything to do right now?
The Council of Brians approves this.
No, I mean I'm already.
Yeah, actually, we can actually just have him dial in. So
I sent it to him. Keith, if you want to join, man, come on, join. If you don't, I understand. Everyone's too creepy.
Let anyone in on this show.
Cooper and Shar are gonna fangirl, but I'm we're at the same level, so yeah. Anyway, I don't know. It's been weird, man. 8 years, Dr. Homebrew. I've hated doing the show for about 5 of them, but I've been enjoying it lately.
All right.
I still remember the day you called me at home and you said, Brian, we've got you're now officially a co-host of a sponsored show on the Brewing Network. Yeah. And I was like, cool. I mean, and it was sponsored by 5 Star. Like, who better to, sponsor our show? Because we love them and they
Yes.
always do good things.
Always.
There's a 412 number coming on. Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Hey!
Also, change your name, Keith, because everyone's gonna have your phone number.
Oh, that's okay.
No, okay. All right. Keith, what's up,
Hold on a
dude?
second.
Look, he's got a photo. For those of you listening to the podcast later on Zoom, he's got a phone symbol instead of his actual face on here. Hi, Keith.
Hey guys, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I just happened to look on Facebook. So,
Hey, man.
wasn't really planned. What app am I on right now? What am I calling in through? I didn't even look. I just sort of hit
It's
what
a
Brian
Zo-
sent me.
Oh, this is it's Zoom. We're doing a new show about sex addicted fathers and how they want to secretly kiss themselves. And so
And
this is what we're talking about.
Hold on.
Right.
Let me just join via Zoom then. I had no idea what we were doing.
Oh my God! Now it's a whole
Okay.
thing. Jeez.
Hey,
This is why we got rid of him, because he just can't. He's like, oh, I need to be the exact thing. I can't just be on the phone for 4 seconds.
Oh, he could. Let's do
Well,
this
that's fine as
proper.
well. I can just be here on the phone for 4 seconds. That is fine. But
No.
Is it, though?
I sent you the meeting number.
All right, well,
You
what
get
are
in
you
on
doing?
the-
Because I do generally want to talk to you. So settle in, do whatever you're going to do, and we can talk to you.
If you're presentable and not naked, just get in on the Zoom.
Well,
meeting.
I mean, even if you are.
change my shirt. But,
Well, if you are naked, definitely get on Zoom because it'll be hilarious.
Yeah, that's right. I miss your pink nipple.
No, but this is our 8th anniversary show, dude, and we were just kind of reminiscing about our past departed hosts. Some of them physically having left the world, and others just moved to Cleveland.
Same thing.
That's right. That's right.
Sadly,
brother.
it's the closest thing to hell, probably. Anyway, living in Cleveland, so.
Yeah. Are
But
you?
I don't think Lee's there. So
Have you
Met Lee
figured
many
out?
times as well.
No, I don't think so. I think Lee had more class than that to move to Cleveland. How are you? How are you enjoying Cleveland? Are you? I mean, it sounds like you've settled in. You haven't murdered anybody that we know about, and you're still a free man. So fine, right? Are you brewing a lot out there?
I was a professional brewer for a good period of time out here, and then COVID hit.
And you got fired.
And
Yeah.
well, COVID fired me, and
Okay.
the brewery shut down. It was on a campus.
Oh, damn, dude. Sorry to
then
hear that.
Oh, it's cool. So I went back to my previous career, and I've been doing that since last May. So, cool. It's not a bad thing.
So like computer touching.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
computer touching. Yes.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed how we've kept in touch over the COVID holiday that we've all been through here, and your stories of leaving just barrels full of awesome, like wonderful hazy IPAs that you crafted with tons of like super fresh hops in them, just sitting in the bright tanks, dying slowly, and you couldn't
Good.
sell them to anybody.
They should die slowly. Hazy IPA should die slow. Hazy IPA.
Yeah,
should
I'm done
move
with
to
hazy
Cleveland.
IPAs. That was kind of like what after commercial brewing, I was kind of like, I'm not doing hazy IPAs again. So ever since commercial brewing stopped, I've been brewing a lot at home and no hazy IPAs. So I did
Thank
8
you.
lagers in a row.
There we go.
8 lagers in a row. Then I did an alt beer, a Kolsch, and a Shtika alt beer, and did a session IPA last week for my wife. That's what she enjoys. But just gonna do some West Coast IPAs, amber ales, stuff like that. Barley
Nice.
wine.
I knew I liked you, Keith.
So-
And so first of all, you were in a commercial brewery. You didn't send us any beer. You didn't try to get on the session. So you're an asshole for that. And then you're brewing all this time and you're not sending us any beer. So you're a double asshole for that.
Well, I mean, we weren't canning. It was all on draft, and we had a crowler line that way too much oxygen, and it was just not good. So
Stop
didn't
it.
want to subject you to something, and also the hazy IPAs too.
Okay,
Didn't
well,
want to
there's
do
that.
that. Although I
Yeah,
was brewing a lot
that's
of wine.
really, yeah,
Mm.
that's really, least to worst. So yeah, you're right about that. It's funny how
But,
many breweries just send in hazy IPAs to the session and shit. I'm like, and I open these boxes and it's like West Coast IPA, double IPA, hazy IPA, Pilsner. And I'm like, fuck, this show's gonna suck. It's gonna be so hard because it's only me and not that the beer sucks because the beer's whatever, but it's only me tasting these beers. So I don't have the palate or the mental focus to analyze hazy beers and describe them to people. It's when I need help, and it's like I can't. This is going to be very hard for me because my palate is not broken.
It's
Well, that's-
hilarious
yeah.
when people send in hazy IPAs to you and don't understand your stance on hazy IPAs.
Yeah,
That's the
There's
funniest
Keith.
thing. Keith,
He's here.
how you doing,
Hey,
man?
Hey.
buddy. All right.
He's still connecting.
He's
the
wearing
audio.
a
There
shirt.
he is.
yeah,
You're like
Wearing a
moving
shirt.
and
That's
stuff.
good.
There you go.
yeah.
He's,
No,
he's
he's
going to the bar. Yep.
It's muted. This is going to be very fun content for the podcast. I'm going to edit this whole entire thing out where we're describing what he's doing on the thing. But I'm sure for Facebook, Nathan is loving it.
Keith is walking around right now, everybody. Listen, podcast listeners, he's walking in his house.
He's breathing.
All right.
Fucking amazing. What a fucking 8th anniversary show this was.
This is
Keith,
it,
unmute
you
yourself.
guys.
You're muted, dummy. Now you're side. You're
Uh-huh.
muted.
Uh,
This is a mistake. I should never have done it.
this is not a mistake in the slightest. This is
No,
awesome.
it really is. Well, you say that, Brian, but you don't have to edit the show to make it.
I don't, which is why
I
to
do.
me it's awesome.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, all I'm seeing is the work I have to do tomorrow,
Yes.
and I just want to
Yeah.
bury my head in the light socket.
So for a while, all we could do was hear Keith, and now all we can do is actually not even see him anymore. We just see the name Keith P.
Yeah.
P.
Keith
Did he
P.
change his last name?
Keith.
Keith P's on his iPhone.
Yeah.
That's
For
what I. That's
promiscuous.
what I'm reading.
Keith P. Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
the way that things ought to be.
Okay.
Well, anyway, look.
Anyway.
8 years. It's been fun. Brian Cooper, you and I, man, we've been running the ship. I appreciate you as a co-host and as a producer, because you have been doing all this behind the scenes work for the last year or whatever. And I told you one time, I was like, look, if you don't do it, the show's not going to continue, because I can't
Okay. Oh,
do it
my
all.
body was missing for a while there. Like, yeah.
It's all right, man.
Well, it's been fun. I enjoy chatting with, and I'm much more long-winded than you are. You're just like, okay, yeah, send your beer.
Yep.
Here's where you send it. I'm
Oh,
just like,
yeah.
I'll start chatting with, like with Brian here. I was like, oh, well, tell me
Yeah.
about your club sour project. And I don't want, I'd already.
Yeah, it was a
Judge the
much
beer,
different
I just-
experience than getting JP's email early on.
First of all, because I don't give a shit. I don't care. Second of all, take me off of the emails. When you email back and forth, like, I don't want the emails. I don't read the emails. I just want to know when to show up to the show and what order to drink the beers in. Everything
Yeah.
else, I don't give a shit.
So the message here
helps to have-
is randomly copy JP on emails.
Yeah, like I don't want that. I don't want these two fucking knuckleheads are like judging the beers via text message, and I'm on the text message, and I'm going, I don't fucking care.
So we're texting each other and emailing each other, and JP's on those, and it's just chaos. And JP's like, "No, I don't want to be involved with this." I'm like, no, fuck you. You're in charge of this mess. You
Yeah.
have to listen to all of this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all I'm trying to do, I'm trying to edit Brew Strong, and I'm trying to win. I'm trying to get loot boxes in Overwatch because it's the anniversary event for the next 2 weeks. So I have really important things to do. The last thing I want to do is hear my phone vibrate with Brian Shargan. Well, I could come up to a 37 because I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm
One would
going to hear
think-
about it in 2 hours.
One would think that JP hates podcasting, he hates craft beer in general and where it's going these days.
Yeah.
And C, just like, what is he even doing here? I mean, we love him, but
All true.
He
Why?
did throw in Pilsner, right? He was talking about hazy IPAs, and he threw in Pilsner with hazy IPAs as well. So it was like, wait, when did Pilsners become such an evil thing? Like,
I was saying that like the classic, like if I could package the classic session guest beer package it would be
Uh,
West Coast IPA, double IPA, hazy IPA, and Pilsner.
I'll be over later.
It's just what it is. It's
Yeah.
like,
And you're just like, that's the most interesting non-IPA you could choose to send.
yeah, and I love it, and that's great. But the other three beers for me are very hard to describe. New. It's interesting, man. Doing this show and doing the session, it's both have very much like developed my descriptors and stuff. But it's hard to just find new descriptors or new ways to convey sort of the same ingredients or the same flavor combinations. And that's why I'm a very bad judge of IPA, and I'm very bad. If you're a brewery, don't send me an IPA. I don't know how to describe it. I need other people to describe it. People who care about like the way the hops play and stuff like that. It's very hard for me.
I think I just wanted to throw out something. When I was there, I think maybe half of the shows we received a barrel-aged imperial stout, like, you know, it was all the time, or it was some hazelnut, or there was something coffee, like it was all these imperial stouts constantly. Yeah. I'm like, why imperial stout again? Like, why barrel age this one for, you know, it was nonstop with the barrel age stuff. And I was like, you know, I'd be happy for a hazy IPA at that point, but it was just always these 11% beers. And I had to take a train back to San Francisco, and it was like,
that's
right, I'm going to be wrecked.
That's why you didn't like those 11% barrel aged stouts. Got it.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird because like now we're doing like, we got like 3 or 4 Kveiks in like 6 months, and like it's definitely like the styles have shifted over the years, which is cool. And you can sort of like doing the show, you get your finger on the pulse of what is sort of interesting in the homebrew community by what people are sending in, you know. And then we have Mills with the Flanders, like. Send me dude. Yeah.
I spent many years driving Keith's drunk ass to the BART station, like literally dumping him out of my car sometimes. Usually playing him bad indie music from mixtapes that I made and trying to impress him because he's such a music nerd I can't even compete. And then just, you know, then he leaves.
Right. You cruise through Concord BART 10 miles an hour, you lean over, open the door, and you pivot on one butt cheek, cock the leg back, and just eject him like a pinball, and you
tuck and roll.
Keep going. Yeah,
that was it.
It's good.
And only once I didn't wake up, and my wife had to pick me up at the airport. So every other time I woke up at the Glen Park station. One time I woke up at the airport, and she was like, "Wait, where are you? It's 2 a.m. Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm at the airport, and all the trains have stopped running." I'm like, "Come pick me up at the airport." She's like, "Why don't you just fly back to Pittsburgh?"
Yeah. For you guys who don't know, the SFO airport is not it's Daly City, so it's like beyond San Francisco. So Keith missed his train by a lot, by like several stops. Yeah.
So how happy was your wife to pick you up at 2 a.m. at SFO?
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened now with having the sun and everything. But yeah, like you said, catch a flight. I'm like, think I'll be
yeah, because basically that's where you're gonna sleep. Is you're gonna sleep on that fucking plane. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, you know, when you're single or at least when you're married, like pre-kid, you can do all this. You can do stuff. You can go out whenever. You can do the thing. But now when you have a kid, you sort of like think back, like, it's hard to, you know, go to this tiki bar, or it's hard to go out, or it's hard to do the thing. But it's also hard to take care of your insane spouse.
Yes.
Because you can't go to the fucking airport to pick them up.
This is now the what the hell are we even podcasting about show? Like,
we're podcasting
Brian, what do you
about our
want?
crazy spouses. Come on.
Yeah. Shut up, Brian. You're reminiscing. This is what you wanted.
Okay.
All right.
I like it. I like having Keith back
it.
on the show. It's fun.
Yeah. Keith, are you ever going to send us homebrew?
Yeah, sure. I remember the one show I made fun of the guy who had a canning sort of set up, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're a homebrewer and you have a canning setup? Well, I bought a canning setup as a homebrewer, so now I'll send you send you guys some cans out there. Like,
dude, please do it.
Tasty crack cans.
Yeah,
let's do it.
That'd be good, man. That'd be good. Well, I'm glad that you're you know, you're getting along, I guess, in Cleveland. I'm sorry that your brewery shut down because of COVID. That really sucks, man. Are there plans to like open it back up, or is it one of those like it's just gone and that's it?
It wasn't my brewery. It was a brewery on the campus of Case Western, and I worked there.
Oh, wow.
And it was just, the university shut down, and then I was like, well, I'm not gonna. Yeah, like there was no. It was way too long of a period of time, and they hired somebody else. At some point, they were like, I was like, I need to keep working what I'm doing now. You guys aren't opening for a while, so they hired somebody else to do it. But it was it makes more sense for me to open something else on my own than to work for somebody else at this point in my life. So that's kind of at some point, it's just depending on where that's going to be. And,
we look forward to that for sure. Now, I wish this was a point in the show where we could like have a UPS driver knock on your door and deliver this same Flanders Red that we're about to taste with Brian, but
Ed McMahon shows up.
yeah,
but we can't. Yeah.
I'll mute myself and just watch you guys.
You're welcome to hang out. Yeah.
You can hang, man, if you want, man.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right.
Well,
You can give running commentary about our judging skills. Hey, do whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah, that was our 8th anniversary celebration rundown, and then we hired Brian Sharp. So that. But in Brian Sharp's defense, we tried to get Nicole Ernie, but she couldn't commit to all the shows.
Wait, have I been hired? I'm hearing hired in here somewhere.
Oh fuck, you're a lawyer.
Oh.
No, we couldn't get rid of Brian Shar, and Nicole Ernie was too busy. She got too busy, so then we turned to Brian Shar.
And let's be real, Nicole was a lot better at this than I am.
Oh, 100%. Everybody knows that if you want to talk flavor profile, or descriptors, you got to go to Nicole Ernie because she
has an incredible palate.
Yeah.
I learn stuff from her all the time, and she's fantastic. And I'm sorry you're stuck with me, but we got the Council of Brian's going. So that's it is what it is, man.
It is.
Sometimes we get there. Yeah, we get there in a roundabout way, but we make it.
That's right. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to finally talk to Brian Mills about his Flanders Red and allow him to shower us with compliments and all that kind of fun stuff. So hang on. It's Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, thanks for hanging on. That was real quick, but very important because we had to make sure that everybody was ready. But we have Brian Mills back with the Flanders Red. And I think, Brian, I wonder, Cooper, correct me if I'm wrong, but I wonder if Brian Mills is the most entrant on the show. Like he's in most time.
Yeah. I believe that he's, if not the most decorated, he is tied for at least the people that have sent us a 6-pack of different beers over time. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, my records are very faulty, and sometimes I have like people on there that didn't send their beer, and then they forgot, and then they're still on the list. But anyway, it's this weird spreadsheet that doesn't even make sense to anybody but us. But Brian's name came up a lot, and we said, hey, let's do this thing. So, and you were the first one to jump in. Hey, I've got some beer. Let's go.
Oh yeah, Mills, and you sent in a Flanders Red. Is this the first time you've done this?
Yes.
Wow.
So this was a club project.
Okay. All right.
A bunch of us got together and.
Can you refresh us on the name of your club?
Yes, it's Lebanon Area Fermenters in Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
It's the Brian Shar Shut Up Club. Let me talk club.
So we had a 53-gallon bourbon barrel that originally we did a Russian Imperial Stout in it, then a wee heavy, and then the Flanders Red was after that.
Wow.
So we did that, and now there's a golden sour in that same barrel.
Cool. All right.
Sounds good to me, man. Cooper.
Did we ask Brian how long he's been brewing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Year
6,
or 2?
7 years, something like that. This is my first beer.
Yeah. Long enough to know. Yeah, those other 6 I sent in were brewed by other people.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Okay. All right. So the Flanders Red, in the nose, it's pleasantly fruity sour up front, cherry-like undertones of plum and red currant. Has a clean lactic sour presentation. I'm not getting much acetic at all here. Obviously, no hop. the malts blend into the fruit, so it's somewhat wine like. There's no diacetyl here to distract us. It's like the nose is pretty good. It's a rich but not too like funky or gnarly kind of smell. So it seems like it's well soured. There's definitely probably some wood going on in there too. Appearance wise, it's an orangey amber colored beer. Well, it's reddish, I guess, too. Last night maybe my light was too bright. It's looking more reddish tonight to me. Had a cream colored head. Yeah, there's a good color.
We're all holding them up and they all look red.
Quite clear. The head on the first sample I poured stuck around pretty well, but I might have some beer oil going in this glass, so it fell flat pretty quickly this time. But I won't knock you down for that. There was kind of a creamy quality to the head, very a little bit of lacing, mostly fine bubbles. So I mean, I gave it full points for appearance. Flavor wise, it is brightly sour up front, clean lactic, no hop. So as I let it dry off my tongue, I got a faint hint of some THP. It's coming across as kind of a Captain Crunch like graininess, but it's not very distracting. THP is something I discovered when I was hanging out with Keith one time at the show, and we were like, "What are you getting in this sour?" And we both looked at each other and just said Cheerios. So it's not to the Cheerios extent, but there's a light tetrahydropyridine in the beer.
You say Captain Crunch, and I get crunch berries because of the other flavor of the beer.
Yeah, fruit in there.
Yeah.
Crunch berries. Yeah. That's a good way to describe it because it's got the fruit.
Thanks,
really
man.
Really nice fruitiness with I call it crunch berries beer. No, it's not to that extent. It's a really light note, and you only get it. So to taste that THP, read the Milk the Funk wiki on this. It's really good. To be able to taste it, the pH in your mouth has to actually be right. So you can't taste it when the pH is low, like 3 or 4. You're not going to taste it. But as your saliva comes in and tames things down, gets it back up towards neutral, higher pH lets that come through. So you taste it only on the late palate, and as you exhale and kind of get ready to take another sip, it's like, wait, what's that? The flavor just changes on your tongue a little bit. But again, it's really subtle. The THP is not too distracting to me, but I think it's there. But it's really low. So the beer is balanced to the malty sourness. So definitely clean ale. The funkiness is low. It's got just a nice winey tartness to it, which is what you want in a Flanders Red. And it has a nice level of sourness. It's not super intensely, bitingly, teeth meltingly sour, but it's also not wimpy. It has a nice tang to it. Again, a little bit of a grainy aftertaste, probably that Captain Crunch berries. The fruitiness and the flavor again is mostly plum, some aged cherry, a little bit of currant. So just it's a nice round bunch of different kind of fruity aspects coming from the malt with the bugs that did their thing with all that flavor in there. It's a very flavorful beer. I really like the flavor a lot. Mouthfeel wise, it's medium bodied. CO2 is kind of medium low. There's no obvious warmth. I guess I could say the beer is perky. It's not like some sours would be kind of dry and leathery feeling in the mouth. This one's just perky and sharp. Like you feel the sourness, you feel the little bite.
Dry and leathery. You mean like fruit leather, where it's like not the
fruit
bright
leather
aspects of the fruit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just not a flavor, just the mouth feel, like it leaves your tongue. Like if you get a really heavy Brett beer, or sometimes you get this leathery aspect to it. Just your mouth feels like you're licking a leathery couch or something,
Yeah, we've all been there. So
I know. I like end of the night tonight. I'll probably be there too. Our couch is right over there, ready to go. So you know how much I love to lick a couch.
I do.
But yeah, there's a medium low tannic astringency. like a lighter red wine, which is appropriate for the style. There's nothing, creaminess. There's nothing cream-like about the beer. Definitely mostly the style here on the mouthfeel. I like the way it feels on the tongue. And it's good bright sour. Overall, just a nice balanced Flanders Red with a pleasant level of sourness. A slight THP in the flavor is not very much of a detractor. I think it'll probably age out before too long. That stuff can just avoid, when you're brewing a beer like this, avoid O2 contact, especially in the presence of any Brett. I'm not sensing a lot of Brett here in this beer. There's probably none. But also just age it longer to let that kind of break down and age itself out. At such a low level, this should be pretty quick. I don't know how young the beer is, how long it's sat in the barrel. I mean, maybe it's 2 years old. I think maybe you already mentioned, but yeah, it was like pre-COVID, so it'll slowly age out over time. But oxygen is definitely not your friend as it goes. So just keep it in kegs and hopefully it drops out. It's like maybe a little more. It's pretty fruity. And in that aspect, it's a little bit kind of not one-dimensional, but it's like it's an all fruit game here. There's not a lot of, there's no funk or twists to it. It's just kind of straightforward and sour and fun and clean. But maybe a little more richness of some malt might help this beer kind of express itself a little more. Something a little chocolate or something. It could stand to be a tiny bit darker too. It's kind of this orangey color. They can get a little bit darker than this, and as they age they can get darker too, but I landed at a 37 for this beer. It's a bordering on excellent. It's a really nice Flanders Red and sounds a great club project. And sometimes when you have like a bunch of different beers going in, you never know what the final product's going to be, and everybody brews a little differently. And but hopefully taste everything going into this and just had some fun doing it. And nice club project, and hopefully that the pale sour turns out nicely too. And I have a story about that coming up too, but we'll let Brian talk about the beer.
Wait.
Yeah.
All right, Shar. Hit us.
I largely echo what Cooper said. Mr. Mills, I was debating whether to give this a 50 or get close to 50. And then Cooper said, "Oh, THP." And I'm like, God damn it, there's Cheerio. And there's a little bit of Cheerio. All right. Stupid Cheerios, THP. But it's still a really good beer.
It's not that much. It's not really not that much. It's so light.
It's really not. But anyway. I'm just saying. But I love this aroma. 11 out of 12. The aroma is amazing. There is, to me, a lot of cherry and berry aroma. With medium levels of sort of lactic sour and some Brett funk. Really no hop or malt aroma, but you're not, that's not the point of a Flanders Red, no vinegar or diacetyl. So that was real good. It's funny, we've all held our glasses up to the camera. And when I judged this beer, it was about 4 hours ago here in my living room, and the sun was coming in and I held it up to the window. And I'm like, there's not a lot of red in this beer, but there's actually a lot of red in here. And this goes to show that the color is one of the toughest things to judge in any beer, because there's not always a standard glass size. There's not a standard light source. If you've ever judged any competitions, you've been in weird rooms where they're like, here's like a light up here, like 30, 40 feet away. I'll try to hold it up. And the
light's yellow.
Yeah, it's an old fluorescent tube that like bugs are going up there to die and shit. So it's
I love it.
It's really hard in competition sometimes to get color right. And I knocked off a point, and I'll bring you up a point here at the end. This is real-time judging, listeners. I am real-time judging Mills's beer. And changing that based on the different light sources available to all of us. But you know what? I said it's missing the hallmark red. Well, no, it's not. My light source was kind of weird. So it's crystal clear. Medium-sized head, settled down pretty quickly. But to a low, persistent head. You can kind of see it here on the camera, right here on the edge. Appearance 3 out of 3. Flavor 14 out of 20. Initially, the flavor to me was fruity cherry, some berry. Sour immediately followed right after that. The sourness to me is firm but not intense. This is a sour beer, but it's not like one of those that's going to rip your face off. It's close. It's gonna think about ripping your face off, but it's not gonna rip your face off. There's really no hop flavor or discernible bitterness, but again, that's not the point of a Flanders Red. You're not supposed to have hop flavor or a lot of bitterness in this beer. Although, having said that, I wonder if a Flanders IPA, a hazy Flanders IPA, JP.
I was going to tell JP that I was going to send JP the kettle soured Flanders with cherry puree and lactose.
And dry hops.
Is that a milkshake Flanders? Oh my God, a milkshake Flanders is the thing. That's the next that's the new hotness.
Yeah.
No, that's not the new hotness.
No.
This is really well attenuated. The finish is balanced. It's balanced towards sour. I get a little low oak flavor and a little tannin kind of mid palate, which hearing about the barrel, that makes a lot of sense. And I was going to give this very close to a 20. I gave it 14 out of 20. And then Cooper was like, oh, THP. And I didn't get Captain Crunch or Crunch Berries because I love both of those things and I will not have them be disparaged as off flavors. But THP, the way that it's classically described as kind of a Cheerios type of, and I did get that a little hint of that Cheerios THP there at the end. So give that 14 out of 20 for flavor. Mouthfeel 5 out of 5. Medium body, low carbonation, very slight warming. It's not creamy, but that's supposed to be a creamy beer. Tart but not astringent. Overall impression 7 for a total of 40. I've had commercial Flanders that are not as good as this. And I'm not even talking about those gushers of Duchess they sent out like 2008 era. We're like what is happening here? This is a really, really good Flanders Red. The sourness is very high, but it's not over the top. I made a note that a little more red color would be desirable, but I withdraw that comment based on holding that up to the light right now. We talked about THP a little. Bottle conditioning will reduce THP apparently, and you want to minimize oxidation at bottling. That's kind of the case for any beer, really. But for sours, I guess instead of getting the cardboard, if you don't minimize oxidation, you get the old Cheerios flavor. But this is really, really excellent, I think, Brian. Thank you for sharing it with us. And I'm going to keep drinking the rest of what's in my glass while you tell us about it.
All right.
Can I have a couple of questions first, like just to jump in here? THP always been a huge thing for me in this Dr. Homebrew thing. And so I'm obviously really interested in how you bottle it and where it came from there. Like I've learned that pretty much fresh yeast pitch and things like that can kind of clean it up, like as Brian said. Brian 2 said. I'm not sure how do you guys say it?
It doesn't matter.
I'm number 2. That's fine.
That's a big question there I have as well. You guys are still getting THP, naturally re-fermenting, I think, is one of the keys I've read about. I've used at home a lot now in Solera projects, and it seems to work. But that's what I'm interested in. So so focus on that if you can. And any other questions that Brian 2 has?
Yeah, we'll delete those.
It is.
I'm number 2.
Before we get to Mills, let me take a quick break. It's our second break, and then we're going to come back. It's all Brian Mills all the time. Hang on, everybody. With our 8th anniversary show on Dr. Homebrew or whatever we're doing now.
Extravaganza. And
All right,
Keith will
thanks
take
everybody
his
for sticking
comments.
around. We are back with Brian Mills, special guest judge slash sitter inner Keith from days of yore, and his replacement Brian Shar. So I feel like now
I'm
you guys
here.
are both fighting for my affections. So whatever you say to Mills is really gonna, impress me. Is what I'm trying to say.
Who will be kicked off of this island?
Sure, man. Anyway, Mills, let's talk about you, man. Well, actually, let me give my impressions. I'm not really a Flanders Red guy. I don't like what's the big one? Not Duchess, but because Duchess is like nail polish.
Rodenbach.
I don't fucking do Rodenbach. I can't do it. I think it tastes like dog shit. I think it tastes like stale water. I don't like it. Rodenbach is not good to me. It's too sweet. This is very tart, which I do sort of like, but it's those darker grains with the sour bugs that just they fuck with me a little bit. I do get some aspirin-y thing out of here, and I don't know if it's because I'm drinking a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale on the side. So it could be that. So I wanted to throw aspirin-y out, see if the other two judges got that as well. It could be just me. So I would think maybe aspirin would be a little overhopped for what's going on. There is an aggressive bitterness. How old is this beer, Mills?
I did not get aspirin.
Okay.
How old is it?
So we originally brewed it in 2017. And that's when it went into the barrel, and it came out of the barrel in 2019.
It's very it's aggressively tart, and I wonder if I'm confusing some of that super aggressive tartness as like a hop. It's almost bitterness at the end. It's almost like
I think it kind of changed too.
Brian Cooper, back off the mic a little bit. You get a little hot sometimes. Yeah. You're good right there.
It's a pop filter.
It's the rock vocalist in me. Sorry.
You're doing that's perfect right there.
So as I sip a little bit of a dry hopped Pilsner with the beer, it like the hoppy beer playing off of the sour beer doesn't do it any favors. So it does like kind of detract a little bit, and it does change a little bit, but you have to just stay on the sour beer for a while and put down the pale for a bit. So
all right,
so the
fair
beer
enough.
was brewed by multiple people. Everybody brought their batch to the barrel, and you tasted them and gently put them in.
Yeah, we started with essentially a bulk grain purchase and made kits for everybody that was participating. As far as the recipe goes, it is I'm going to try to round here, but about 33% Pilsner malt, and about the same in Vienna malt, about 11% light Munich, and then aromatic, Cara Munich, Special B, and wheat malt were each just under 6%. Hops, just a little bit of EKG. And then we all initially fermented this at home with our clean ale yeast. We used SO4. So yeah, that was more or less to keep everybody's equipment at home clean.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we all brought our, at that point, clean beer into where we had the barrel. We racked it all into the barrel, along with we essentially had a big sour bottle share, and we took the dregs from a bunch of different bottles, along with a commercial Flanders Red pitch that somebody had propped up to, I think it was about 2 liters, and put that into the barrel, with all of the different members of the club that participated. And then, over the next 2 years, sampled it from time to time. And when it was about, I think it was ready at maybe about 18 months, we were happy with it. And at that point, we started to put the next project together, where we have the golden sour in there now. and getting participants ready for that, so that when we went in the day to rack that out, we could put the clean fermented golden sour in there to start its process. When we brought it out of the barrel, the Flanders Red, for the most part, everybody brought corny kegs, and we racked straight into corny kegs. Some of the guys took the corny kegs home and they did bottle condition. Mine stayed in the corny keg, and the one you have now is actually another member's keg from that day. Mine's been gone for close to a year now. But our current club president isn't a huge sour beer fan. He participated with us, and that keg had been sitting there in his basement for a while, and I finally took it off his hands for him. I did him that favor. Thanks.
Nice. Good work.
Pretty cool.
Well, Mills, you're a giver. You give all the time.
True.
Yeah.
It's holding up well.
Yeah, we were real happy with the way this turned out, especially, considering, there must have been, 15 or 20 different bottle dregs that went in there, plus that commercial sour pitch.
Ugh. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, it was a fun day of drinking beer too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, I'd like to know what happened to that the pale sour.
So that is still in the barrel. It's been in there for a little over 2 years now. It went in there in February of 2019. From what I heard on our last tasting several months ago, it was good, but a little underwhelming. So we might look at what to do with that going forward. The idea behind that one was, just brew a nice golden sour recipe that we could all then take home and re-ferment on our choice of fruit, or whatever you want to do with that base recipe, and plan a meeting where we all bring them back in, and say, here's what we did with it after we all got it home.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta sometimes do fun things like this to keep club meetings interesting. And
Yeah, you really do. So do you have a keg? How much do you have of this beer?
of the Flanders.
Yeah.
So there's probably about 2/3 of that keg left, and I think there might be a few bottles floating around, and that's about all that's left from that batch.
Okay. I would like to see this blended. To just kind of take that sour. I don't know, man. That's me. It's not you.
It's too sharp sour.
It's too sharp sour for me. I mean, to make it I think to make it a Flanders Red.
I mean, it's really hard to make a Flanders Red on a homebrew scale. Like, no matter what you do, it's going to end up being too sour. Like, there's two different types of Rodenbach. There's Rodenbach Grand Cru, and then, well, there's actually more than that. But like Rodenbach and Rodenbach Grand Cru, and they're different blends, but they're all pasteurized. There's a lot of different things going on there. And like Duchess, again, there's like pasteurization and a lot of things that we don't do as homebrewers. So Flanders Red, honestly, is one of the hardest things to kind of, if you like, my wife loves like Flanders Red, like Duchess is one of her favorite beers. I'm like, I really can't do that because I can't keep that sweetness there, because it's always going to keep eating away and it's going to be gone and you're not going to have that. And it's just, we can have that for a short period of time. And you only have a beer once a week, so that shorter period of time is going to be shorter. So, like whatever. So it's impossible. Like, at a homebrew meeting, some point you were like, hey, we do this Flanders Red. It's perfect. It's going to have this perfect flavor. You can do that. But like moving forward for competitions, it's like really not that easy to do unless you pasteurize. And there's a lot, and filtering. It's just really difficult to nail that style as an American brewing sour beer.
And without 100 different barrels to blend.
Blending as well. And a lot of those got Petrus. Like there's a lot of sour beers where they're blending different things together. Sweet beer, sour. Like unfermented beer. Sorry, not unfermented beer, but using different style. Using unsoured beer and doing all of that. It's an art, and that's great. But as a home brewer, like unless you have a bunch of beers, which you could do as a club, But even then, like you get a certain sweet spot, and then that period of time's over after that. Like it's pretty cool. Like, hey, we're gonna have the biggest Flanders Red blowout party ever and have 60 of them. Yeah, but it'll be one day.
Yeah, for sure. Mills, do you have any questions for anybody?
No, I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. Like we were real happy with the way this turned out. We took it to Homebrew Con in Rhode Island, and it was a big hit there.
I probably drank it there.
Could be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it and thought that it turned out as well as we thought it did for something that was kind of a well shit. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, for a let's see what happens. It's very good. Yeah.
And it was so funny too when you and I started chatting about your project. It's like it rang a bell with me. I was like, oh, cool. We did a Flanders Red Club project too, and it started in 2018 and it came together in 2018. We kegged it off and it was good. But we had done two different beers at the same time. We did a Flanders Red.
There we go. All right, you got a little weird for a bit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
sorry,
got a little weird. I'll turn it down. We did a Flanders Red, and then we did a pale sour that actually Keith helped me design the recipe for, because he had done a lot of different sours and like what's good in a pale sour. So I took some of the stuff that Keith had contributed, and we all just kind of threw it together, and everybody brewed these pale sours. So we ended up dumping all the beer, both of them at the same time, the Flanders Red and the pale sour. My buddy Craig Danielson, who is the head brewer at Shadow Puppet Brewing here in Livermore, had a couple of barrels in his basement that we wanted to fill. So we did that, and the Flanders Red was ready after a year, and everybody kegged it off, and we ended up just tasting that pale sour. I was like, yeah, that's not quite ready yet. So what are we gonna do with this?
Yeah.
So we decided well, actually, we have Craig on with us now here too on the phone, and it is,
hopefully you guys can hear me okay. My reception's not so good here in Castro Valley, but
we can hear you, bro.
All right, what's up, Craig?
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad.
This is our 8th anniversary show, and we're just bullshitting at this point. But we're like, our buddy Brian had a real similar story to what we went through, where our beer got kind of stuck by COVID. So like we tasted that pale sour, and then it was 2019, and then another several months went by, and pretty soon it was 2020, and it was like, oh, okay, we're not gonna keg this beer off for a while.
That'll happen. Yeah.
I've been keeping in touch with Craig. I've been getting updates every once in a while. How's our beer doing there, Craig?
Yeah, surprisingly well. It looks like it went in the barrel almost 3.5 years ago. The level has dropped a bit. It's probably about 6 inches down below the bung opening on it. But I think that pellicle, I don't know if you saw the picture I sent into your phone, Brian.
I did, yeah.
But the pellicle was pretty thick, and I think that helped preserve the beer from getting oxidation effects. It does have some acetic character, right on the edge of somewhere between pleasant and unpleasant, maybe. Depending on your threshold for an acetic sour, I still kind of like it. I think there's enough like sweetness, or maybe just enough malt character left in the beer to kind of balance out that more aggressive acetic character. But I think time's ticking on this beer. Probably should get it into kegs, especially now that I've disturbed the pellicle to get my sample. I didn't have a V-nail in this barrel. I just had a wine thief. I had to unfortunately break through the pellicle tonight. So.
Wow. We're gonna have a VPO event, a vaccinated people only a kegging party, maybe.
Never trust Craig with the barrel. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
poking that pellicle.
Some fine barrels at the brewery there, and but yeah, the sours. It's a work of art. Sometimes you never know how it's going to come out, and the Flanders turned out pretty well, and the pale sour, it probably would have been great like a year ago, but couldn't do it.
It happens, man. Especially on the
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Our experience
think that's-
was pretty similar. The Flanders turned out pretty well. The samples we've been taking of the pale sour have not lived up to expectations. And since then, we've heard from a couple people that were, more or less telling us that, if you had a good Flanders barrel, why did you ruin it by not putting another Flanders in there?
That's an excellent point.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because we're
Or,
homebrew.
Yeah. 'Cause,
Ruin everything.
why would we do the same thing twice?
Yeah. I wanted to destroy something beautiful.
Well,
Well,
it
look,
sounds like the pale sour might be a good blending beer or something fun to play with. I love
Yeah.
blending sours, and that is always fun. And sometimes the acidic one is the one that like makes the less like sour beer just kind of pop, and it's like you don't notice the acidic so much, and it's just like all of a sudden it has that zing,
yeah.
Yep. So
Yep.
Well, Mills, if you don't have anything else,
No, I don't. This was fun. It's a good 8-year anniversary show with
Yeah.
a 4-year beer.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
We're gonna try to get you a T-shirt for all your efforts sending all these beers to us
Sure.
over the years, man.
There you go. Good luck with that. I don't know.
And
Keith,
if Keith,
if Keith
does he
doesn't
have
have
anything to
anything
add?
else, Dad.
Why would I have
Going
anything
down the
else?
line.
I don't know. Sour beers are great. Like Soleras are great. Sour beers are great. Brian, I gave you those barrels that were terrible as well. It's
Yeah.
always a good time. It's
I still
sour
have
beers
my-
are a good adventure for homebrew clubs. I think that's one of the best things. And the bigger barrel you can get, the better off you are, because the less oxygen exposure, the less acidic character you get. And that's one of the most important things. But yeah, dregs and have a big party, a lambic party, and dump crap into a barrel when you get it. And that's awesome, man. That's stuff's awesome.
Absolutely. Craig, thanks for calling in, man. If you don't have anything to contribute to the thing, we're going to end the show. That's it.
What?
all right.
Yeah.
Continue.
We're not going to talk for another hour about
No,
like
Not
barrels
going
and
to. We've
sour?
already been talking for an hour, and
Oh, come on, man.
It's
I'm frankly tired of it.
I think
only
Brian
1
has
in the
something to
morning
add
for
here.
me.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mill needs to go. and,
Keith totally did the whole Sully exit on us. Did you notice that?
left.
Yep.
Done.
The Irish goodbye.
he just kind of left.
Yeah, he's out of here. Well, look, he has the right idea. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You guys have made it 8 years, and look, we really appreciate it. Cooper and I obviously wouldn't be doing this if people weren't listening. So thank you very much for everybody, and shouts out to all of our old co-hosts and our current co-host, Brian Shar. Thank you very much, Brian Shar, for continuing.
Thanks,
show.
man.
It was a little rocky there for a little bit. We didn't know what we were going to do, and Shar decided to suck it up and commit to the show, and we really appreciate it. So thank you very much, man. And then of course to everybody who's ever sent in beers to the show.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You guys are the best. Keep homebrewing. Email brian@thebrewingnetwork.com if you want to come back on the show, or if you pivoted to hard cider or soft cider or semi-erect cider. I don't know how old you are. It's fine. Or wine or kombucha or hard root beer. Remember when hard root beer was a thing that people were
Oh,
trying to...
Jesus. Yeah, those
Oh,
dads.
Really good. Yeah.
Not your dad's root beer. Like,
If you're doing that, you send it in.
Don't send that to us, please.
I will drink it and I will judge it, and a shark can host this show. It'll be a switcheroo.
But you're right, man. It's the listeners and what they brew is what makes us be able to have a show. And without them, we would just be 3 guys like talking to each other. Who wants to hear that?
Not me.
Well, also,
That's for
really,
sure. I'm
I
trying to go.
I very much enjoy the repeat entrants, and this show has been dedicated to one, and he's been prolific with us over the years. What we love is the rebrews. We love all the people that actually listen to our advice for some reason and make an improvement. And we got another one coming up. Somebody has a great story about something that happened when they rebrewed a beer from Dr. Homebrew. So look forward to that on a coming episode. Yeah. And this is just going to be a fun little series. We're going to bring back some of the greatest hits of Dr. Homebrew and with new beers each time. So it's always fun, and it's always something new. So
That's
Thank
true.
you guys, and
For sure.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com. Come join the fun. Come be a part of Dr. Homebrew. You can even send a hazy beer, and 2 out of the 3 of us will drink it. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you later.
Happy 8th.